Welcome to Failure to Stop podcast. It's the Friday breakdown. We got a real felony Melanie case today. Hopefully we see felony Melanie in the live chats today. Live chat's already filling up with Abby Ellsworth from the On Being a Police Officer podcast, teaming up lately with Cameron Santana from Santana, A True Crime. There's felony Melanie. I knew it. I called it. I knew she would be in the chats today. This one is for you, felony Melanie. Rest in pieces. Bosco Autry's up in the chat. Yo, what's good? Nicekin from across the pond, and a few more. I won't keep scrolling up. Today's show is brought to you by ghostbed.com/Wolfpack and factormeals.com/Wolfpack50OFF for 50% off. And of course, we've got Red Pill Threads, the greatest red pill teas on the market. Head over to redpills.com. Use the promo code Duke, D-U-K-E, as in the Duke. Go to go to Red Pill Threads. Use that promo code Duke and get you some Red Pill Threads. Take it away, Joshua.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up, giddy up. It's the #1 case breakdown podcast on the interwebs, live on the YouTubes. But 99.9% of our listenership comes from audio. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, wherever you consume your audio podcasting listenership. Today with me, I got Deadleg from Deadleg Media in the house, former police officer, to break down this case out of Bismarck. Where is Bismarck? What state is Bismarck in?
I'm just kidding. It's North Dakota.
Oh, North Dakota. Bismarck. Is that up near John? Or is John South Dakota?
I think John's in Canada now. He just left us. He packed up and left, renounced his citizenship.
I guess there's probably not very much to do in a place like North Dakota. Actually, John's from North Dakota, but I can't imagine there's too much to do. I feel like I would get in a lot of trouble. I feel like the overwhelming consensus of folks that I've known from North Dakota, it's a pretty depressing place. Isn't that where Fargo took place? The movie Fargo?
Yeah, Fargo. I got a buddy that works up in Sioux Falls up there every now and then, but he only goes up there.
You seem like a happy guy, or does he seem pretty depressed?
Well, he only goes up there a couple months of the year. So he goes up there, does the work, and then leaves, gets out there, goes back down to Texas.
Yeah, Sturgis is up there. Yeah, but what good comes out of Sturgis? There's a lot of depression in Sturgis after it's over.
Yeah, leaving. A lot of STDs.
Oops. Yeah. Well, today's case comes out of Bismarck. We've got a new Daniel Holtzclaw on the Free Holtzclaw podcast, which is now up. Free Holtzclaw, episode 3, I believe this was. Yesterday, which is quarter of the way through his initial interview, and kind of goes through about how the case really went south from there. This is where the detectives really make up their mind that they've got their guy. They are going to ignore all the evidence that shows he's innocent from this point going forward. So it's a very important episode as we go through the year-long journey to expose the innocence of Daniel Holtzclaw. Head over to the Free Holtzclaw podcast. Give us a 5-star rating and review. That one's very important. It's not monetized at all. It is simply to build awareness. And if anybody wants to be involved in that case, you can be involved as much as you want to. Join our Discord. Get up with us in the DMs. If you want to do some research, if you, we want this to be a group effort. We want, we need to get some networking out so that we can share some things, maybe do some public speaking engagements and whatnot to really bring this case to life, especially about 6 months from now when we really have all of the information out on that. So tune into that Free Holtzclaw podcast, and then Fox News, WKES News, where I do news 2 or 3 times a week. And it's we go over very important news that maybe isn't really getting a clear picture painted by the mainstream media. Like, for example, $66 million experiment to dim the sun. Anybody that made fun of people who believed in or suggested that there is some kind of chemicals coming out of airplanes to create clouds and cloud seeding and all these things, shame on you. Call those people now and apologize, because not only has the world the New World Order, the World Economic Forum, the UN, the WHO. They've all come together and basically say that geoengineers at the Advanced Research and Invention Agency in the United Kingdom have allocated $66 million to inject aerosolized particles into the stratosphere to reflect the vital light that sun provides to Earth and bed to hedge global warming. If you want to hear more about the dangers of that, then head over to FAWKES News on either YouTube or on audio, and make sure you subscribe because we're going to talk about that soon. You're going to be charged for your sunlight. So all those who thought they were getting away with solar panels, well, now you're going to have to start paying for that sunlight in the next 10 or 15 years. So we'll see about that. Head over to Fox News for more information. But today's case, again, out of Bismarck. And why did this Bismarck officer shoot somebody in a car? We talk so many times in law enforcement about we should not shoot in a motor vehicle. How many times do we say, like, get out of the freaking way of a motor vehicle? Like, why would you stand in front of a motor vehicle? It's dangerous. Now, listen, 20 years ago when our society had a spine for crime, like if you're willing to run over a cop, we as a society back then were like, well, then you deserve to be shot several times. If you're that stupid, if you're that mentally off the rocker, or off the spectrum, and you try to drive over a cop, we don't need you. We don't need the weight of your problems on our shoulders any longer.
No.
But that's changed. And now society has said, well, just because somebody wants to run over a cop, that's no reason for a cop to want to shoot somebody. If they want to drive through a crowd of people, then the cops should have done something better. But like if they're running over a cop, we don't care. The cop should have gotten out of the way. But if they drive, anywhere else, a Waukesha parade or any kind of other parade, those people shouldn't have gotten out of the way for this guy's mental illness. This guy should have been shot sooner by the police. So again, more proof that society, wants their, what's the saying? They want their cake and they want to eat it too. I've never understood that thing. I've never understood.
Well, because to have your cake is you want everything that you have, and eat it too is make sure that you want all of the good with none of the bad. So if you want your cake, the bad side of the cake is you got to get off your ass and go do some exercise and work. And there's some back end. You got to just do it. So then if you have your cake and eat it too, then you can eat your cake and you don't have to do anything. You could be fat and lazy and they're just going to keep bringing you. You don't have to have any accountability for it.
Interesting. Okay.
At least that's what I think.
So now we have a case today in Bismarck where a police officer yet again finds himself in the front of the car, but this time it's a little bit different. That's why I love to say, and this is my favorite part about this show, is showing civilians that policing is a gray area. And these policies that are being written by people who want policing to be black and white, we want RoboCop scenarios, and you can't write that into policy. For example, you can't pull a car over until you've run the license plate and you've ran who's in the vehicle for warrants, or if the vehicle is stolen, you can't pull them over. But the policy also states that you can't use your computer while driving. Well, so you can't shoot somebody in a motor vehicle that's driving, and you should never be in front of a in front of a car to put yourself in a position where you need to shoot somebody while they're trying to flee in a car. But then we have incidents where we'll show here on the tape, was the cop justified? Was the cop in the way? Did he put himself in harm's danger? Or did danger find him and he deal with it accordingly? That's what this is all about. I will tell you this. I hope that one of the police officers, not to spoil this, I hope he is recovering well. And, maybe we should look at trying to see if he's involved with GhostBed or what GhostBed's got, because this guy's got some recovery time, and maybe he could use a massage topper. Maybe he could use the GhostBed bed with the adjustable base to raise one of his legs up in the air so that he doesn't, sleep uncomfortably at night. Either way, I know that when I shattered my leg as a police officer and I was in the same situation that this Bismarck officer was, oh man, I stacking my pillows up to put my feet on them or trying to get in the right position because you can't roll over. I would have done anything for a GhostBed adjustable base back then. I would have. And so maybe at the end of this summer, that might be a project I start putting together, is trying to maybe get some beds for these fallen officers or something like that. We've got a crazy summer coming up, but right now head over to ghostbed.com, use the promo code WOLFPACK, and you're going to get that 40 to 50% off site-wide with their pillow, all the cooling technology, the cooling sheets, and that deal goes away. So for the first time in 5 or 6 years, however long it's been, it's going away. We're losing that deal in about 4 days. So if you want to get on the GhostBed deal that we've had and you haven't taken advantage of it yet, invest in your mental health and your mental wellness now. Head over to ghostbed.com. Use the promo code Wolfpack because it's Fugazi after that. It's gone. It's my favorite word. We also have factormeals.com/Wolfpack50 off. Wolfpack50 off is the new promo code for factor75.com/Wolfpack50 off. Summer is coming and you're going to be wanting to spend a lot of time outside now that the weather is changing and you don't have time to be running back and forth to the grocery store and doing all your meal planning, yada, yada, yada. Let Factor Meals take care of that for you, whether you want to go protein heavy and get jacked and swole, or you want to lose a little bit of weight. You want to shed some pounds so that when you take your shirt off on July 4th, everybody's like, damn, USA. Head over to, they got the calorie conscious, they got the keto going on. Plus they have snacks to get you through the day. You can do the protein shakes, all the different accoutrements to go with that, and the snackies and the breakfasts and the lunches and the dinners. Head over to factor75.com/Wolfpack50 off today and start your meal planning. Stop driving and wasting all that time trying to go to the grocery store and plan out your week when you could just get chef prepared, fresh and never frozen meals delivered right to your door. Head to factor75.com/Wolfpack50 off. That's Wolfpack50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. All right, let's play the body camera. I want to see. So initially, the body camera footage for this is going to start with a 911 dispatch audio. Briefly tell us what that 911 dispatch audio explains to the arriving officers.
So we're going to play it here just a second as we start to play it. It's real quick. There's a suspect or there's somebody in this parking lot of this building, and they're calling and saying, "Hey, something's up with this car. They're driving really weird. They're sleeping in the car or something. Can you send an officer out to look at it?" And then we get what we have. We get a really good witness, what I would consider a really good witness, and something that we looked at a couple times beforehand. That pretty good dad, maybe too. But so. Want to set it up and ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. This is coming to us from police activity.
Go ahead. 1140 South 12th Street, Nightway Shelter. There's a white Chevy Equinox at the church beside the Nightway. 911 texter said the occupant is 55 and getting escalated. Again, 1140 South 12th. 10-4.
I just want to point out, this whole incident takes place over
what's your name
4
now?
minutes.
Why are you calling? Why?
We got called to come check on you. They were concerned.
There's nobody concerned.
There was. We got a phone call.
For
What's going on today?
who did you get a call from?
Okay. I don't know. It was an anonymous caller saying there was a white.
I know,
Trooper
that's
sitting
what they keep doing that. You know, they did that in Nebraska with my children. They keep calling in false reports.
Okay.
Nothing. I don't think that it's okay for people.
I can't help it that people call, and it's my job to come respond when we have a call in, to come check on people. Okay. Now my concern is coming out of my concern.
Your concern is everybody that
My
I'm dealing with.
concern is that the car smells heavily of marijuana.
Now, some of you guys, so he's like, "Oh, why does a cop care so much about marijuana?" Well, let's look at the totality of the evidence that we have. We have multiple collars. Plus, we have a civilian on scene that's telling the police that, like, she's sitting here, she's acting slightly erratic. Think about how many times you've ever called the police, right? So when people call the police, it's usually for something. Very rarely do people call the police for no reason, right? Like, it's just, that's not the norm. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes we get, maybe 2 calls a week that you're just like, why did you even call 911? But a lot of the time you have civilians that are generally like, it's not something that they see every day. And they're like, that's weird. It makes you go, huh, well, we can't discredit everybody. And it's, I like the example of, it's like, how do you know when to cross the road without getting hit by a car? Like, how do you know you're going to make it across the street safely when there's a car way off in the distance? Because you've done it enough times, and you've observed what the normal, like, when the normal time to cross the road, like, when a car's too close for you to cross or not too close. Like, you've observed long enough the behaviors of vehicles, and now you know how to kind of you know how to cross the road. We get it, right? So that same thing applies to the day-to-day. People know what like normal day-to-day behavior is. And this is not normal behavior for somebody to sit in the car the way that they're doing for the amount of time that they're doing and whatever gestures and whatever it was, it worried more than one person enough so that they called the police. And the police know this. They get it. It's like, this is not normal behavior. So this isn't just like some lady sitting in the car. It's some lady sitting in the car acting strangely enough that multiple people have called 911. And so what the first clue we have is an extreme odor of marijuana. But what else can come with marijuana? PCP, bath salts. There's other things that go on, not only that can make you, but the marijuana is a good place to start, right? Is it just marijuana? Is it marijuana in alcohol? Is it if he would have smelled alcohol, he would have said alcohol. So it's not that he cares about the marijuana, but what he's saying is that that's a good indicator of what's probably wrong. But marijuana in itself is not going to make you act this crazy and erratic. So there's probably something else there, but that's where we start is the marijuana because it's the most obvious. So he's asking her about the marijuana. It's not that he cares solely about the marijuana. That's just where he has to start his investigation to figure out, put the clues together to figure out why this lady is acting so strangely.
When's the last time you smoked any marijuana in here?
Other people have smoked marijuana in here, and I don't want to get into that because then they're calling you on me.
Other people have, you don't smoke any marijuana?
I have medical marijuana. I had my card.
Do you have a medical marijuana card?
I had one.
Do you have one? Current? No. Okay. Have you step outside of the vehicle here?
No, you're not.
Okay, so why is he having her step outside of the vehicle? Well, because we have kind of a DUI situation here. You're going to want to pull her out of the vehicle. You already have enough to search the vehicle to see what else do we have. Is it crazy prescription pills? Is it alcohol? Is it whatever? But our goal right now is to get this woman out of the vehicle and to figure out what's wrong with her. We can't just leave her. I saw a lot of comments. It's like, why didn't the cops just leave her alone? Like, she's just sitting there. Why didn't they wait until she drove off, until she committed a crime? Well,
I have an answer for that.
Go ahead. What's your answer?
Because they're there. They're now aware of it. So even if they don't do anything, even if they don't arrest someone, they're still aware of it. So let's say, I don't know, they give her a ride someplace and she gets dropped off at a gas station in the middle of the night and they knew that she was under the influence of something, but they didn't want to give her a DUI. They were trying to give her a break. So they give her a ride to a gas station and then she stumbles out in front of a city bus and just gets splattered by a city bus.
Sure. What if she ODs? What if they leave her there to wait for her to drive off and she ODs? Then it's the cops didn't do their job. Or what if she drives off and hits a pedestrian walking down the street? So again, at the end of the day, I love reading the comments on YouTube because that's what civilians really think about police. And that's what our show is here, is to answer those questions that you guys, these popular questions. So, there's no walking away, especially after the Gabby Petito case. Like there's no more of that. Like that's gone away. So now we're going to pull this lady out and see what's going on. And I think his tone is fine. He's not escalating anything. He's got a very kind tone. If anything, she's escalating things by being snappy, argumentative.
Turn off the car. Turn off the car.
No.
299, she's fleeing.
Okay, so she backs up very quickly, and the cops just don't really care. They're like, all right, fuck it. And he gets on his radio. He doesn't move. She's backing up out of the parking space. He's not in front of her car. She's backing up. He gets on his radio. He's like, all right, she's fleeing. And they know they're not going to chase her because it's the middle of the day. And they probably have a chase policy like everybody else in the country where we don't chase people like this anymore because, of harm that could happen to the public. So they're just going to let her go. And she rams right into the police officer. And this is going to cause them to draw their guns. But guess what they don't do? They don't shoot her.
Draw their guns. They don't shoot her.
Nothing. They don't shoot her. They're like, all right, bitch. And they tell her to stop the car several times. And by the way, to paint the picture for our audio listeners, this is a really big industrial parking lot. Like there's tons of space and there's no cars in it. It's like her car and two other cars. And then it's like you could drive in, you could parachute into this thing with, a whole platoon from the 82nd Airborne. There's enough space in the parking lot.
Air support could land in the parking lot.
Yeah, for sure. So she's got plenty of room to go anywhere she wants. And I don't think the cops give a fuck, because I think they're like, oh, yeah, she's not going to hit us. She can go literally anywhere but at us.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Now she backs up, and she's not facing the cops. So for you audio listeners, she backs up almost does like a reverse U-turn. So now she's facing a complete different direction than the police officers. So they are not standing in her way whatsoever. All she has to do, straighten the wheel and drive straight till morning. And then nothing would be a problem here. The cops are doing everything that they should be doing. They're not putting themselves in harm's danger. By the way, the cops right now have their backs facing a massive snow mound and then a whole sheet of ice next to the snow mound. So there's not really anywhere else they can go.
And if you're thinking out loud, if I was thinking, okay, this person's about to leave, they're about to run away. Where's my cover? Where can I go for some safety? To the right is that great big open area, like you're saying. That's where they want to flee. Suspects generally, they want to flee. They want to get away. They don't want to just drive they don't want to jump into a snowbank. So these guys are somewhat sidestepping towards the snowbank, sidestepping away, kind of not giving up the ability to flee, but they're not creating the exigent circumstances. They're not walking in front of the car. They're not running out in front of it and stop. You need to stop. They're letting her kind of deal with what's going on, and they're reacting to what's going on.
Right. They're saying like, see ya, bitch. Like they've already said on the radio, she's fleeing, and they're not going to get in their cars. They're just letting her flee because that's probably what they're doing everything by the book at this point.
299, she almost struck me.
Get out of the car! Ah! Not fire! Show your hands!
Look how far up the snowbank she got.
Yeah.
That's a 6-7 foot tall snowbank, and she got almost halfway up it.
Yeah.
And then this guy, the officer, is on the other side of the snowbank now, up against the chain link fence. So she hit him over a snowbank and hit him into a chain link fence.
By the way, the suspect's here name is Melanie Udell, felony Melanie Udell. And we're going to get into her history here in just a moment, but look how fast this happens. If you're a police officer and you're listening to this cop did everything by the book. He got out of the way. He had a point of cover behind him. The last thing you would think that this woman was going to do was damn near do a U-turn to hit him. So when she backed out, she was facing the opposite direction of this guy. And then she cuts the wheel hard and does basically a swooping U to hit this guy. And there's nowhere to go because there's ice or the snow mound that he has to get up, which is also icy. Let's play the other angle from this so that they can see what the cop, because a lot of people in the YouTube chats were like, why didn't he just get out of the way? Well, where was he going to go? And which is something you should think about now. Like if you're privy to this information, that you could say like, okay, well, now that I've seen this happen, what could we do as cops better to not be in this situation? But I don't think this cop thought in 1,000 years that this woman would want to kill him. But that's where we're at in society right now, is that we're having a mental breakdown. It's okay to kill cops. It's fine. Like we celebrate that. You're going to be a viral video. If the cops screw up, your family's going to get paid. But like other people are doing it, you can do it too. Why not send it? Let's get to the other angle where we can see it from the angle of yes, here we go.
All right. So this one, there's going to be no audio with this until towards the end. So there's someone up at the driver's side window talking with her. And this is the witness. This guy even tells the police like, hey, I'm just trying to talk with her. He's doing what officers do to try to get other officers there. He's just trying to keep her talking, trying to keep her there until help gets there. Like he's doing what we would do. Like this isn't a stupid thought of, hey, let's keep her talking. Why do we need to get her out of the car? If I'm just here, I'm going to wait till I get some backup, wait till I get the position of I'm in a way better position. I've got more backup here. This is what this witness was doing.
And
there's
also,
witnesses here.
she's parked. But there's only 2 cars in this very crazy, like very large parking lot. There's only 2 cars there. They look like maybe like other homeless folks or something like that. But like they're just chilling. And she parks directly behind them, so they can't back up. There's a fence in front of them, and then there's a sheet of ice. So it's like, yeah, I could see why everybody was like, "What the fuck is your problem, bitch? Like, why are you parked like this? Why are you blocking me in?" Now, as you're watching the video, she tries to hit the cop the first time. And it's so apparent that she's crazy that the other homeless folks or the other people here start getting their baby out of the car and a couple other people out of the car, and they already start running. So you can kind of see that in the video. But you see she has a clear exit. All she has to do is, drive a little bit to the left and she's home free. You can see the big mound of snow and the big sheet of ice right there. And here we go. That's how fast it happens. And smack. And I mean, the cop tries to get out of the way, but it's so icy he can't get any footing. And officer number 2 shoots several rounds into the vehicle, killing Felony Melanie here. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Felony Melanie. We've got one more angle with audio. Let's play that one more angle with audio.
All right.
Show your hand!
And so as soon as I heard that,
All right. So this is the second officer, the other officer, and so while officer number 1 is talking with the suspect, the witness goes back to the back of the car and starts talking with the second officer. So this is when he's telling him, "Hey, I'm trying to keep her talking. This is what I'm seeing."
put 2 and 2 together, like just peeping, like hearing you know how you turn in the gravel scratches. Yeah, I heard that, and then that's when I kind of sped walked to the truck in case she was to ram it. It'd be the truck, not me. So I sped walked to it, and then she rolled her window down. She was like, no, just start screaming. I was like, hey, calm down, like calm down.
And the reason why he's trying to talk to her is because she's blocking him in and revving her engine. It's basically what he's saying. It's like they don't know this woman. She's parked behind him. She's staring at him. She's acting erratic. She's revving her engine. And this guy is like just trying to talk to her like, yo, what's good? What's going on?
So she started getting into people owe her money, and her dad owns an oil refinery and all types of crazy stuff. While she has to drive, so I'm trying to be low key because like this is all happening within minutes of each other. I'm talking to her. I'm just trying to keep her talking. You see what I'm saying? To y'all deeper. So I didn't know if I should step away and call her, but if I stepped away, I would either be in the front or the back of the vehicle. I didn't know what to do. My son's right there in the car. I didn't want her to back up and then ram to the back of the car.
For sure.
So I just texted you. So I went back to the
Turn off the car. Turn off the car. Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Something I even noticed now. Look how far back their patrol cars are.
Yeah, they're way back there.
I mean, if you're on a police review board, in explicit detail, tell me what they could have done better.
Parked directly behind her so she couldn't back out.
Oh, then you're blocking her in, Eric, and then when she backs into the patrol car, then you have to deal with that damage.
Yeah, and I guess at this point it's a voluntary encounter, and as if you pull right behind her, it's no longer a voluntary encounter. I get it.
Yeah. So, but this is where those police review boards will go like, oh, look, there's bad situations are bad. At no point did the officers put themselves in a situation like, hey, I'm going to wake up and want to shoot this 54-year-old woman. But no, they were dealing with someone who was driving erratic in a parking lot, and she drove at him not once, but twice.
Now! Get out of the car! Shots fired! Officer hit! Show your hands! Shots fired!
Oh, that looks so
Show
painful.
your hands!
I'm feeling it.
Show your hands! Back up! No, back up! Show me your hands!
Now think about the other thing that just happened too. Now you just got hit by a car. Your suspect or your partner just mag dumped her, and then now you have witnesses and people are going to try to come into the scene. They're trying to. It's not a controlled situation yet. So still, after he gets hit by a car while on the ground, he's still trying to help control the scene. Still trying to help take care of his partner. Still help him try to take care of things. I mean, Come on,
Yeah,
people.
Abby says, would they have been justified in shooting her the first time? Yes. The answer is yes. Well, okay. Because officers are taught you cannot shoot somebody in a moving vehicle. And if you put yourself in the front and in front of a vehicle and you shoot into that vehicle, you are going to be charged. We covered a case where an officer was fired and was civilly charged and sued for a Walmart incident where he stood in front of the car. And I believe they actually charged him. No, I don't know if they criminally charged him, but they definitely civilly sued him for wrongful death. And he got fired from the police department. And it was a big training video, but it's like, you have a duty to get out of the way. Like, it is your duty to get out of the way. You cannot put yourself in a deadly force situation is basically what they have said. And so standing in front of a car is you like trying to put yourself like there. It's like this South Park episode where they start shooting all these endangered animals, but they're like, as long as you yell, he's coming right for me. It's self-defense. You can shoot these animals. So they're like going on these hunting trips and they're just shooting everything. They're like, quick, he's coming right for us. Boom. And they blast the bunny and they're like, oh my gosh, that bird's coming right for me. Boom. And they stack up all these kills. And that's basically what the policies are now dictating is that you can't put yourself in that situation. You can't just yell, she's coming right for me. So, would I say that they have a good chance of fighting that in court? Yes, but they also have a great shot at losing it too, because now it's like, you're going to put that in front of a jury where somebody's going to say that these cops had a duty to get out of the way and they didn't. They stood right there and they could argue. I think they have a great argument. Well, you've got the snow cap hill and then you got the sheet of ice. Like, where else was I going to go? And there's a great chance these cops would win that battle, but it's still a 2-year long battle. You're probably not going to have your gun in your badge while you're doing it. And then think about the anxiety of what if you lose. We're covering the Daniel Holtzclaw case and, he did not do any of these crimes, period. And the crimes that they're accusing him of did not happen. Like, there's video evidence and surveillance that show this didn't happen. There's DNA evidence that shows this didn't happen, but they're questioning him and he's kind of laughing in the interview. He's like, I don't know who this Terry Morris is. I've never given a ride to a Terry Morris. And guess what? Now we know for a fact he never gave a ride to Terry Morris. But if you go and listen to other podcasts, they still talk on these podcasts as if he ever gave this Terry Morris chick a ride. Kate, I forgot what her name is now, but this Katie Morris, let's see, what was her name?
There was a lot
Terry
of
Morris. I'm sorry, Terry Morris. And so they still talk to this day as if he did it, but he's laughing through this interview because he thinks this is crazy. Like, no, I didn't stick my penis in anybody's mouth. Go ahead, run the DNA. Yeah, please. Here, have it all. Let's do a polygraph. Let's do it right now. And all of these things come back. Well, he's doing 3 years in prison. Because of a retarded jury, because of a public defender who did a terrible job trying to defend Daniel Holtzclaw's case, a corrupt judge who was sleeping with prosecutors. I mean, all like the perfect recipe. It was almost like God said, Daniel Holtzclaw, I need you to go to prison. And I know you didn't do anything wrong, but you're going to go to prison. And I'm sorry. And that's all I can get from this case. I think it's why I'm so passionate about the Free Holtzclaw Project and the Free Holtzclaw podcast. But, look, these cops know those stories, right? Like, all the cops know in their minds that Daniel Holtzclaw is innocent, but they also don't want to open their mouths about it because they're like, nobody's going to believe us. And the courts aren't on our side. They're not on your side. Think about it. Like, Daniel Penny, this was a good guy who's done nothing but good in his life, joined the Marine Corps, and everything that he did good in his life, the media spun it to look bad. Remember, like, he was a trained killer in the Marine Corps. So he trained the Marine Corps to be a good person, but now the media has made him out to be a cold-hearted killer. He went and did ayahuasca to become a pacifist and went to, South America and did ayahuasca, and they made him sound like he was a adrenaline-drunken travel person that just lived on adrenaline, and he traveled to all these foreign lands and wanted to end bed with the indigenous. We're like, that's not true. That's not what he did. So everything that he did good in this life, but then everything that Neely did bad, they justified the bad. And they totally took Neely's side in the Daniel Penny case, or, think about the Sergeant Mattingly and Breonna Taylor case. Like, they tried to find every excuse to make Breonna Taylor look like a good person, even though her whole history has been nothing but bad, involved in two attempted one murder and one attempted murder, from rental cars and delivering drugs and money and all these other things. But they Kyle Rittenhouse, another great example. This is a kid that's never done anything wrong, been a lifeguard, done all these things, went out there to protect the public, and they literally took everything that he tried to do good in life and make it look bad. And then these pedo, sex offender, scumbags that he laid down who have lived lives of crime. They try to justify all their crimes. We're not blind of that as police officers. And so we know that when you put something on the gray area, like shooting this car that you can shoot, just know that you are, Ben Darby, did everything that he was trained 2 months prior by the FBI to do. He did. And he ended up going to jail, solitary confinement for no reason. Yusuf that we had on the show. Remember when he got in that where he was attacked on a road rage incident, and he ended up having to kill 2 guys that are known gang members that have been involved in shootings in the past, and they put him in solitary confinement for no reason and wouldn't give him a Quran, but they would only give him a Christian Bible, and he was treated like crap until luckily a jury of his peers found him not guilty. But cop wants to deal with this. Like, you would rather get hit by a fucking car and just be fine with it than have to take your chances. Because I'm telling you right now, like, I wouldn't be able to do jail. I couldn't do that. I pray every day that God doesn't put me in a situation, where I need to go to jail. I mean, I know that at any given moment, somebody could, try to come after one of my kids, and I could easily find myself in a prison scenario, and that sucks. But like, I just pray every day, like, Lord God, please, like, let us avoid any kind of confrontation at all costs, because I really don't want to go to jail. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to do anything. So just like, let's just keep my kids away from people that might do that. Reason 546 that we homeschool.
No, but the other thing is, you got to think about too. Those 2 officers are going, everything that you just said is going through their head. Every bit of it. They're all of their training, all of the policies, all of the memos, the in-services, the emails, the law enforcement bulletins that get sent out, watching the news. You're seeing all of that. You know who doesn't care? The person in the car.
Yeah.
There's no, hey, we're going to hold them to the same rules. There's no, hey, there's the same standard of being a civil person in society. We give that to police officers and we'll hold them to the highest standard. But the people that we're dealing with, the actual society, we're just going to let that go away. We're just they can do whatever they want. They can drive drunk. They can try to run a police officer over. They can, like, that's perfectly fine. But I don't want to get too far ahead. But Eric, do you want to hold some prosecutors accountable? Do you want to hold some social workers accountable? Do you want to hold some psychologists accountable? Because it's not the police officers that allow these people back on the streets. Police officers interact with people on the streets and it stops. Once they go to jail, you're done. We have nothing more with the process after that. It is parole officers, it's judges, it's defense attorneys, it's prosecutors, it's diversion stuff. It's all of this other things that we have zero influence on. We don't sit in the policy meetings. They don't bring us in with those little in-services on Friday. Like, hey, we're going to talk about this new thing. We have none, absolutely nothing to do with it. But police officers then have to deal with everything that happens from that. So if we try to lock someone up for, I don't know, how many times did the guy that Daniel Penny was after, how many times did he get locked up? At what point do you actually start locking people up? At what point do we actually hold people accountable? Like, okay, we have these laws on the books. Let's actually start. Okay, if you burglarize someone, you go to jail. If you assault someone, you go to jail.
Let's talk about her. What is her criminal record, Josh?
If you were charged with aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon during an act of domestic violence and preventing the arrest, and aggravatedly assaulted a man who you had been in a relationship with for over 3 years. So
right, she stabbed him in the face.
Yeah. Stabbed the man in the face during an argument in 2020. So that seems like a pretty big.
What happened? You know what would happen if I stabbed my wife in the face? I would be in jail probably for 15 to 20 years. And I've seen this as a police officer going to court. If a blue collar or middle class or above commits one of these crimes, they go to bang you in the ass prison for less. I mean, think about, I think Daniel Holtzclaw got sentenced. George Floyd, the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, the average that a inner city person would get for that same crime would have been 7 to 11 years. and they gave Chauvin 22 years. Why? Because he was a cop. So again, it's like so you have this crazy druggy bitch who's in and out of losing her kids and being a terrible mom and having addictions and all these other things, and they're just going to give her chance after chance after chance. But why? Why do they get to have chances, but people who live a decent life and fuck up once get zero chance? And so it's like I always said, if the more tattoos you have on your face, the lighter sentence you're going to get when you go to court. And that's crazy. People are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, go sit in a public courtroom with all the hearings and watch what the sentences are for the guys with gang tattoos that have their shirts untucked that look like a bag of shit. Listen to how the judge talks to them. Like, okay, sir, so what we're going to do is we're going to set you up with a public defender. So if you're going to go over here and see Miss Sally, she's so wonderful. She's having a great morning over there. Go see Miss Sally. She's going to give you some paperwork. If you need help filling that out, she's going to help you. And we're going to get you taken care of. Okay. And the gang member's like, yeah, good, dog. What up? Yeah, bro. And they'll walk away, you know, and they'll bebop over there and they'll be like, what up, bitch? And they'll get their paperwork. And then you'll have just some like college kid who fucked up and got a DUI. And they'll be like, okay, so you're going to school at state. Is your parents here? Great. You don't qualify for a public defender. Your court date is set till 22. Your Honor, can we get a continuance on that? He's actually got state exams. No, he can be here on 22. He can retake his exams. Next. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how the world works. So she gets charged with stabbing somebody in the face, and she's only in jail for like a year.
Not even.
And she's not even a year.
Not even. And they let her out. So she spends time in jail, and then she gets out because they think that she's not competent. She goes through this because she gets kind of off because they think she's got some things wrong in her head. So if someone has mental,
so if you're crazy, it's okay.
It's okay because, and the legal justification is Eric, if you stab Ashley in the face, you know that is wrong, and you know that you shouldn't do that because that's bad. Right. Now, if she stabs someone in the face, allegedly, she doesn't know that that's bad. So we need to teach her that that's bad, and that's what this diversion is. And you make sure that she goes through this psychological evaluation to make sure that I want to get down and I want to read this because it's a very specific quote. Here we go. The overall tone of recent letters and assessment indicated that the defendant likely has the tools needed to successfully manage her mental health in the community. The state feels that it is appropriate to discharge a defendant from the confinement.
Well, I have all the tools to build a fucking barn, but I can't go build a fucking barn.
Because you don't know what to do with them.
I don't know what to do with the tools. Like, I'm glad she has the tools to like make it in society, but she doesn't know how to use those fucking tools. Obviously, you guys were wrong. And that's like why I hate, Department of Health and Human Services and like all these like these social workers, is because like you live to just pass the buck. Like that is your whole job. Like our tax dollars are paying for you to literally do nothing, and you're in a bad mood all the time. And I know I'm generalizing, and that's mean and that's wrong and maybe like borderline hypocritical, but an average cop, an average firefighter does more good on a daily basis than any of these social workers, and the social workers probably get paid more.
And firefighters, police officers, you were literally put in positions where you might not come home. Like this officer and this one literally got ran over by a car. Firefighters burn alive all the time. We need to start holding people. When you want to talk about holding people accountable, yes, maybe these defense attorney or this state's attorney's office and the mental health assessment and all that stuff. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know who needs to be held accountable for stabbing someone in the face? The person that stabbed someone in the face.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, we give them a reminder. You know what I mean? Like maybe we put a big giant fucking scar on her face and say like, yeah, okay, you've got the tools, and now you also have a reminder to not do this. But like, we're definitely too soft in this country. Like if we really cared about victims and we cared about victim rights and things like that, but we don't. We only care about suspects and suspect rights because that's how Ben Crump and all these activists, that's how they make their money. And of course, that's how we create chaos in a society, and we have societal breakdowns. And it's the mainstream media hyping up fear. Again, if you follow Fox News, FAWKS News, where they tell you that Cinco de Mayo is going to be canceled because of ICE and because of immigration law, even though they told you last July that they were going to cancel Cinco de Mayo parades in Chicago and Philadelphia because there was 27 people shot at the parade that following year. So they're not going to do it anymore. And the year before that, they had to cancel it midway through the parade because of gang violence, Hispanic gang violence. But the media won't paint that picture to you. The media won't tell you that there's a gang war currently going on what street, so that when you drive by there and your family is innocently gunned down at a gas station, we got more media with more news. But why wouldn't you put it out that there's an active gang war going on there? The police aren't shy about it. The gang members aren't shy about it. It's known information, but the public is like, well, that's great. I didn't even know there was gangs in Raleigh, North Carolina, And I talk about a lot of that in my book. Speaking of which, Pig Latin, a seriously funny, true story. We're gearing up for, there it is. We are gearing up for the big release, which is August 26th. So fall this year, August 26th this year. Pig Latin, a seriously funny, true story, hits the shelves. It's out for pre-order now. And there's also some just extremely amazing news that's going on that we just, our attorney just returned a contract back. So with some minor corrections, and I can't talk about it, what it is, but I will tell you that this is going to be probably the most fantastic year of all time. And, one of the big questions was, Eric, what are you going to do with Failure to Stop when all this happens? Because, come late July, I'll be on a big giant book tour, and there'll be some other crazy stuff happening potentially. Like I said, the contract came in Monday. We signed it on Tuesday, or we kicked it over to the attorneys on Tuesday, and the attorneys kicked it back last night for corrections. And so today it's either going to be today or Monday that we actually signed this contract to make things official. So I say all that to say that things are going to be really crazy. And so I was asked by my agent and things like that, hey, you podcast and you do all these things. What are you going to do with this podcast? Because to be honest with you, it's going to be very difficult for you to run these podcasts. And I don't need the money from this podcast to make this happen. So it would be very easy for me to just walk away from it. But this podcast is more to me. And it's always been more to me than just talking on the radio. This has been my opportunity to talk to bridge that gap between law enforcement and civilians. And I like FAWKES News. And I've mainly grown to love all the people in the live chats and the people in the Discord and the people on our Failure to Stop Patreon. Shout out to Patreon, $3 a month, less than a cup of coffee a month to be a part of the fam. And, I've just over the course of 5 years, some of my closest friends are people that I haven't met or I've met at our meetups. And you guys have just inspired me to do so many things over the course of 5 years. And we've really grown together, and you've held me accountable. You guys have prayed with me at times. You guys have been there through children's births, and you guys have sent gifts and blankets and, Nightkin in the chats today sends my kids gifts every 3 or 4 months. It seems like we get a package from him in the mail. It's really nice. And, guys like, Bosco Autry, who often pray with Lázaro Lopez. I've broke bread in his home and stayed the night at his house a few times, and traveled to many football sporting events with him. Guys like Josh and John and Will Cray, who met at a meetup and then actually helped me out in Western North Carolina and was able to join me for the premiere of Office Joe and all those things. And of course, just meeting Lo Ren at one of the meetups. So I've really become friends with all of you guys, and so the show will go on. And I don't know how it looks. Maybe Cameron Santana, John, Josh, Jason continue. Cameron has the new true crime podcast, so we don't want to end and be like, sorry, we ended. Hopefully he'll be able to keep his thing going. Jason and John to keep their sports thing going. Josh taking over some of the news stuff, and then maybe me filling in on Failure to Stop Fridays, because one day a week is not hard for me to do, no matter where I'm at. But that, or maybe there's another officer out there that wants to be a paid podcaster. So at the end of the day, that's what's going on. So we're gonna have fun though. It's not even happening. We still have May, June, and July. We still got a good 90 days. Beth and Greg, yes, we have Beth and Greg. The bar's open with Beth and Greg. Of course, they don't need us. Beth and Greg have been podcasting since 2020. We just love having them on the family. It's kind of like Abby Ellsworth, on being a police officer. We don't, she doesn't need us. She's been doing the same thing for a long time. She's got a great network of friends. they're just real deal friends. We love them and they love us. And I'm definitely going to get up with Abby because I'll definitely be in Seattle. And I'm definitely meeting up with Beth and Greg because they're coming here and I've met them before in Austin and I'll be in Austin, Texas a whole bunch. So I'm getting up with a whole bunch of people, especially on the 90-day book tour. And what else is happening after that will keep us on the road quite a bit. We will be in Virginia Beach on the 31st through the 2nd of June for the Jackalope Skate Surf Parachute Festival. My kids will be skating in that. So if you want to be a part of motocross, BMX, base jumping, skimboarding, rock climbing, all on the beach, all on the ocean, that is at the end of May. It is a free event. You just got to get a hotel room and see us down at Virginia Beach where my kids are skating in that. And it's a pro level contest. So you'll be able to meet my kids, get an autograph by them. If you're one of our fans, you find me in the DMs and we'll meet up with you. I got to meet up with a couple of fans at Virginia Beach last year for Jackalope. That was a lot of fun. Brian Debbie says, Tansey needs a group hug. I need to give you guys a group hug. That's what I want to do. I just want to hug all of you guys. You guys are all awesome. So hopefully we catch some of you guys in Virginia Beach. But we're going to have a really good May, June, and July. A lot of changes going on. But stay with us because the show is going to go on. We're not going to go anywhere. And you guys are going to I promise you, what's like this contract, once it gets signed either today or Monday, you guys are going to be like, what? And you guys are on the ground floor of this. And it's literally, and I'm not hyperbolic at all. This is life-changing events for my family. It's life-changing events for all of us. And so you guys are all going to be at the ground level. I'm never going, that's why I'm saying we're not going to get rid of Third Stop, the Patreon, the Discord, all of it. The show will go on. The show will go on, whether I'm on it all the time or not. Maybe we find somebody better. But at this point, I think our notoriety will be so big that the opportunity for Jason and John and Josh to make more money podcasting and be able to, up the cameras and the equipment and the quality of the content of the show is going to go up dramatically. And again, that's another big reason why, if you want to get on with Ghost Bed right now, we only got about 4 or 5 days left for you guys to get those Ghost Bed deals. So head over to ghostbed.com, use that promo code. Of course, supportfactormeals.com/willpack50 for 50% off as well. And then, we've got about 6 minutes left. So I'll leave it up for the chats. Anybody got anything in the chats? Ask me or Josh anything. Mur530 says, sorry, I've been in a meeting and I'm running. Oh, no, sorry, I've been in a meeting. I'm running. Love you all. Have a good weekend. Camera quality? No, I prefer potato cam from Nishkin. M says, someone better? You shush. You're amazing and we love you. Aww, making me blush. Fulcron says he hates us, Loren. Shut up, Fulk. Shut up. I'll get you pregnant from here.
Yeah, you should hear the things he says.
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp style. I'll choke you, bitch.
Even if we're outside, doesn't matter whether we stay home.
Yeah. By the way, y'all head over and check out Abby Ellsworth on being a police officer. She has an interview with Cameron Santana from Santana True Crime, which excellent. I'm going to listen to it today on my way. We're traveling out of town here shortly. And so we're going to listen to that because I'd love to see what he had to say. He was my training officer. So very, very weird because I haven't talked to him in like 10 years, maybe more. And he was my training officer. And so now he's working under our network and he's coming to me for advice and guidance on podcasting. But like, I always see him as like,
you go to him,
you know what I mean? Like he was my training officer. So like, he's always been,
you waxed on, waxed off.
Right. Very, very, very crazy. Anyone recommend a hemorrhoids treatment? Asking for a friend. My wife had some hemorrhoids after the last baby. Could ask her. I know the generic brands worked. I know that, but I don't know which brand worked. Abby says she plugs Pig Latin. Thank you. Oh, I got to go on the Security Hole podcast, which was all about Pig Latin. And that was like one of my better, I felt like that was one of my better podcasts that I've ever been a guest on. I just thought like I had my shit together for that one. Podcasting is like golf. Like some days I have it. Like some days I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I was on. And then some days I'm like, dude, why do I even get on the microphone? Like who listens to me? Like I'm the biggest idiot. I feel like I let everybody down,
And it doesn't matter how prepared we are or how unprepared we are. We can come in and be super prepared and have the worst show ever.
Yeah.
Or we come in and have no preparation, have the best show ever. Or we think that we feel that it's a great show and you guys watch it and you're like, yeah, that was crap. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, we're like, well, like, dude, that was the best episode like ever. And then you'll look at the downloads and you'll be like, oh, fuck. And then like people like the average time was like 15 minutes that people listen to it. And it's like, damn, dude, that was a really good one. Like that brought our average down hardcore, like I thought that was a banger, but and then sometimes we have ones where we're like, God, that was just a terrible case. Why do we pick that case? And then it's got like, like 80%, it's like 80% of our downloads for the month or something. You're just like, so you never know. Remember the shirtless Eric episode? That was gold. I will tell you this. Okay. How about this? When I'm allowed to tell you which contract I just signed, it'll be that big that I will do another shirtless episode. Save your money for it. Cause then we'll pick something to donate. Like we'll try to raise money for something. You guys can super chat and I'll draw shit on my face. It'll be a big deal. By that time, it'll be a really big deal and we'll really celebrate. And then we'll donate all that money to either like, I don't know, like maybe buying a ghost bed pillow for an officer. We'll think of something.
FOP or something.
Yeah. Which I just met with the president of the FOP this week. That was awesome. And he's got a copy of Pig Latin. So that was pretty cool. And I think he's reading it now, but there's some opportunity there to do some stuff with the FOP, I think. So we're, fingers crossed on that one. But anyway, it's starting to happen, guys, and I think you guys are going to be extremely thrilled with the news. I think you guys are all going to be like, we did it. Like the fam did it. Like, and I think, this is like one of those things where the last time I felt this way was with Drinking Bros. But this is like 1,000 million times bigger than Drinking Bros. But it's like, I don't want to get excited about it because it doesn't feel like it's too good to be true. But then when they sent the contract and they sent it as fast, I will tell you that when I signed the contract with Simon Schuster, which is a really large, really big contract with them for this book, which I never thought in 1,000 years, I would have never have known that was going to happen. But it took over a year to get that contract signed.
Yes.
Of course, it was a lot of money, but it took a year and a half. And I didn't know that. Like, I thought it was like, we had this meeting. It was awesome. And they were like, we're going to offer you this amount of money. And my head just went, what? Like, are you kidding? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in it to win it. Like, we're good. Our lives are great. And then then they would like send it and attorneys would take like 4 months to get it back. And then they would take like 2 months to get it back. And then they would put another stipulation in it. And it was literally like a year and a half, right?
It took
before
forever.
Everything got like finalized. And so like, it sucked because I didn't know. And I told you guys, well, I have a big surprise for you guys. And then it took a year and a half to tell you the surprise and it sucked. But it was worth it, right? Like it was this contract, bigger than the Simon Schuster one. And I have talked with them more in 2 weeks than I talked to Simon Schuster in 2 years. And so like, now I'm like, this one's got me feeling like, oh my God, I think this is happening. And listen, if it doesn't happen, it's God's will, whatever. But it is pretty exciting to even think that it even is this close to happening or it almost happened. And I think all you guys are going to be excited for it. And really, when I say you guys are all going to be excited, it's because you guys are all going to know, like, it'll all make sense. And then you guys are going to be like, wow, we were always there from the beginning of that. And you guys are going to have all the stories to prove it. Cause you can say like, oh, we know this about Tansey. We know that. And he's messaged me and he sent me this and he sent me that. And I've DM'd him, blah, 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 blah. And so you guys are going to really be able to be like, that's really cool. Like, and I'll never stop talking about this part of this phase of my life. This, like, I'm not going to let this go because I learned the most through this and through you guys, like humility, humbleness, what this is all about, what actually having fans is about, and how important it is to be honest with your fans. And I got to see other mistakes that other real celebrities made. I got to be a minor celebrity when I first started in podcasting, where we had 500,000 followers on the YouTubes with Mike the Cop, and I was going on all these big podcasts. And then I got to be with all the celebrities, and I got to learn a lot of lessons of like what not to do if I ever get to be them. and then I got to be at the bottom of the barrel, losing Mike the Cop, and then, scraping along, trying to run a network on my own, hiring and firing people, and just kind of grinding out the daily grind of podcasting, but never giving up. And like, it wasn't about giving up. It wasn't about like doing anything. I did this because I genuinely love it. So to me, it was like never of like, oh, well, your podcast numbers are down. Are you just going to give it up? And it's like, well, I never really cared about the numbers. I never really cared if we had 300,000 in a month versus 30,000 in a month. It never, like, I never got on here and processed the number. I just process what's in front of me and try to entertain those who want to be entertained by me. And if you don't, that's okay. And, that's what it's still always been to me. So at the end, it's like, I like when my agent was like, so are you still going to do the podcast thing? Or like, that's like, you're not going to need to do that anymore. And you're probably not going to have time to do that anymore. And, as like my party was like, well, it's not a job. This is not a job. Failure Stop's never been a job. I've been fortunate to be paid for 5 years, a full-time salaried podcast. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy money, but I mean, it was, it was like it was equivalent to being a cop, and and it's just fantastic.
You're raising 5 kids off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a beautiful family, beautiful wife, beautiful, kid. I mean,
we live very small, like it's a very small living. Like we live in a 1,400 square foot house, and that was another thing is because I've had like Will crates and people to my house, and they're like, boy, I imagined you lived in a more grandiose, I was expecting a much bigger house. It's a very cute house on a very big piece of property, but, it's very, I don't get any motorcycles or boats or anything cool like that. But, so it's never really been about making big money, but it's been about the relationships and it's been about the fun. And so I'm glad that we still have 3 months left, but I think you guys are going to see a different change in the mood of things.
Should help that should help things on other stuff. Really, I'm trying to be as cryptic as possible without saying stuff because it's
definitely going to. You're right.
Yeah, it'll open up some stress or some can we do this or a lot of possibilities that that could be there. It'll open those doors. Will for sure be there. And
they're all going to be there. And I think these are like the chats are when we do podcasts, like you're going to have a lot more people. We'll be back to the top days by Christmas this year. But I know that's going to happen with the podcast, even though I don't need it to. It's going to happen. And just take my word for it. It's going to. And unless everything falls through, which I'll tell you, it all fell through. But even if it does blow up, like the podcast. It's just going to, there are going to be a lot more people in the chats, and there's going to be, I know it's going to become a lot more popular, but we're always going to have Will Cray, Armory Knight, Brian W, Corn Pop, Bar 530, Bosco Watch. We're all going to have our green guys that have been, 63 months, and Abby and all those people. It's like we're never going to lose that. And if anything, I'll be able to afford more opportunities to come see you guys, or I'll be able to afford more time to doing meetups and coming to your towns and meeting up with coffee while I'm going through. And I'm not going to meet up with coffee with new folks. Like I'm going to meet up with coffee with you guys, with the lower ends and the Boscos and stuff like that, because I'm not going to remember everybody else. And I know this seems like vague and maybe I'm like tooting a horn or something. I don't want it to come across that I'm trying to toot a horn or anything like that. I'm trying to say all this to say that you guys are my number ones. Like, and I don't take it lightly, and I'm a happy person, and you guys make me happy, and I want to give back to you. And I truly mean that. And you know where I learned that mentality? I learned it from Mike the Cop, because Mike the Cop in the day, that's where his head was at. He's in a different place now because he's a preacher and, he's got a church family and everything. But, he was the one that truly taught me when I left Drinking Bros. And I was kind of like I would say like
finding myself, without a big major network. And Mike was there to kind of guide me through those times. He was the one that really mentored me in that direction of like, this is all going to go away, and it could go away tomorrow, and you have nothing. And so you just be so thankful for what you have right this second. And he's like, 'cause I promise you, once you're at the top, you're going to be there super short. And so don't even get excited. Like, don't even be
happy to be at the top. Like, just know that, like, yeah, I'm here now, but it's going away tomorrow or the next day. So you just hold on to it. And we've seen that. And I've learned that from the, oh, we're number 12 on the Apple podcast list. Holy shit. I mean, dude, now I don't even know if we're in the top 1,000, we were somewhere around like 206 to 230 last time I looked, and that was over a year ago. And I don't know where it's gone. I don't even look at the ratings anymore of the podcast, but it's, when you really have that mindset of it's like, it's not about all that stuff, it's very freeing because you're not really stressed about holding on to what you have. You're just enjoying every moment for what it's worth. And I think that was a really great lesson that I got to learn from Mike the Cop. Murph530 says, oh yeah, just my comments alone ruined the chat, let alone adding everyone else. We're pretty terrible people. Yeah, you guys are all degenerates. Fuck you guys. Don't let the people with the deal read. So don't let the people with the deal read our live chats then. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's crazy, dude, is right when this was all a rumor about, like, when they were like just kind of hinting that we might be signing this big giant deal, 3 of those crazy people started following me on my Eric Tansey account. And I was like, oh fuck. And I started calling my agent and I was like, bro, do I need to like delete this shit? Or like, what do I do? Cause like, I don't know if they know the real Eric and this is going to ruin everything. And he was like, it's up to you, man. But like, he's like, I would never tell you I would just say be authentic. It's easier to let them know what they're getting into than try to fake it. And so I didn't delete anything, and they still sent a comment over. So I guess we'll see what happens. But then I look at my Instagram, and I'm like, oh my god, my Instagram is pretty cringe, but it makes me happy. You know what I mean? It
represents who you are.
Yeah. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care. I just like, if I feel like putting something on there, I put something on there. I don't really question. I don't really like plan it all out. Like I just said, and that's probably why I only have 15,000 followers and not hundreds of thousand followers, because I don't like plan out and put quality content down there.
I think for the Christmas episode, I wrote a note down that we'll revisit this, like this tail end of this episode here. We'll revisit this and go, oh, these are all the things that we were talking about. That's what we were talking about. And we were talking about this and this thing we were talking about and this other thing. That's what we were talking about too.
I like Im says, like, my Insta is not cringe. Listen, I go back and listen to I cannot go back and listen. I listen to our podcast audio, the episodes, just to hear the audio, to see, like, I'll go back and listen to this for like 5 minutes to see the audio. And I'm so disgusted with myself and I beat myself up so bad that I turn it off after like it's unbearable to me. I'm like, dude, how many times do I say, oh, or how many times do I have to fix my hair? Or like, why are the lights so bright and my cheeks are shining? Or like, why did I say that? What tangent was I going on? Like, why not just say, like, yeah, I brutalize myself. I'm my worst critic. I'm so bad that I can't even put up with myself. I fire myself 10 minutes into a podcast. I'm like, you fucking loser. I did that security hold podcast and I'm more stressed about it coming out and listening to what I said, because I think in my brain I was on. Like, that's very rarely where I'm like, I'm fucking on. Like, I nailed that podcast interview. But now I don't remember what I said or how I said it. And I know that when it comes out, I'm going to be disappointed, because in my brain, I think I did a great job. And then I'm going to hear it. I'm going to be like, oh no, I was talking way too much, or I over talked. I stepped on the guy's mic, or my stories aren't really that cool, So yeah. Anyway, you get it. I need a makeup artist, Armory Knight says. I'm going to come in here with just straight. Oh, have you guys seen, just because we're hanging out and having a good time, have you guys seen Righteous Gemstones?
Gosh. If you haven't, get on board. We need to do watch parties. Everyone needs to find Jesus.
Yeah.
I
just like that they're making fun of those people. And if you watch it, they're not making fun of the church. They're making fun of mega church.
Mega churches.
Joel Osteen. I'm pretty sure they embedded somebody in Joel Osteen's church and then just wrote a whole fucking Joel Osteen, that other guy, the other creepy guys, like all those creepy guys, like they're all have a character in the show. It is so good.
Oh, so good. God, it's so good.
So good. Bosco, you would appreciate it. You would appreciate it. At first I was like, this is a little bit sacrilegious, but then after like 3 episodes, I was like, no, this is like, they're definitely going after, like, they're not going after God and Christianity. What they're saying is like, these people are the fucked up. This is what's fucked up about, like, this is wrong. Like they're calling it wrong. So that's great. Yeah. Uncle Baby Bear now. You see,
Shut up.
Bosco?
Nerd.
Come on,
Shut
Uncle
up, nerd.
Billy. Uncle Billy, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy.
Shut up, nerd. Go back
Shut
and
up,
play
nerd.
Little Buttons.
Yeah, you fucking nerds. And his character just gets better. And if he doesn't win some kind of a massive award for being Uncle Baby Billy, and he was in White Lotus as well, by the way.
He was in The Shield.
White Lotus was good. Yes, he was. Yeah, you're right. It's really good show. It's a really good show.
Yes. If you've seen the clips or reels of it and you've laughed at those, go back and you actually watch it in context. It's even funny.
It's so funny. Oh my God, it's so funny. I've seen some reels like you've talked about, Bosco, where I saw the reels and I was like, I can't wait. I haven't seen that episode yet. Like, I can't wait. And then the episode happens and you're just like, yeah, I've seen the reel to this. It's so good. But yeah, I mean, I would not watch it with kids in the room. No. But I also like I like their take on the gay shit too. Like, it's not, because it is a real thing, like right now in the church. So I don't know, but a lot of dicks though. Every episode has a penis in it, which is weird. Not gay penis, but just penis in general.
It's one of those things. Like I like to think of it like Danny McBride is kind of like, Tom Green back in the day.
Yeah, because he is the writer.
How far can you push it? Like how
he
many?
He put a lot of dicks in that. I will say that this is the funniest series since The Office.
It's up there
for me.
We had Eastbound and Down too.
Will Cray says that Hollywood is now into showing dicks instead of tits now. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean? I don't need the tits, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I went back and watched Varsity Blues. I was up. My wife and I put the kids down for bed, and we had a couple glasses of wine. This is like 2 or 3 months ago. This was like right after Christmas, and I don't know, for whatever I made a reference to Varsity Blues. My wife had never seen it, and I was like, "Oh, dude, when I was a teenager, oh my God!" And I was like, "Crazy thing is, I probably wouldn't want to watch it now because I'd feel like a pedophile because like when I was a kid, I was a high school kid into high school girls. Now I'm an old man, probably not into the same high school kids. But we went back and we played it, and I was like, "Yo, this is like rated X." You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that shows back in the 90s were, I think Varsity Blues was more rated X than anything that they put out now. Like, that's really fucked up because those are like teen boobies and teen snatch and very explicit sexual things. I was like, dude, I can't believe I was watching that at 16. I don't know. Maybe I just erased all that from my brain. And I thought that kids now had it worse. But like, they're not making movies like Varsity Blues right now.
No. And if they do, it's how much penis, how much shaft can you get on camera? It's not.
All of our adult listeners, all of our audio listeners, folk around and find out. She says, exactly, Tyler. I have a husband, so I want to see all the dicks in my shows because my husband's dick is super tiny, and so all these big dicks in the show are my favorite, and I love dicks. That's what she says. For your YouTube listeners, it sounds something like this. Exactly, Tyler. I have a husband. I don't need dicks in my shows.
End quote.
End quote. So if you're an audio listener, it was the first one. If you're YouTube, it's totally different. Damn it, Tansey. One less subscriber to worry about at the end of the summer. I'm just kidding. Yes. Anyway, it's been really fun hanging out with you guys. We'll do this every Friday probably. So enjoy it. I'm gonna go skateboard with the kids now and get some clips with the kids. Hopefully, we'll see somebody at Virginia Beach. I hope to see some of you guys at Virginia Beach on the last weekend of May for Jackalope Festival. I know Chris, who's in these chats often, he met up with us last year, and a couple other people met up with us last year. It was really fun to meet you guys and hang out. Chris Beersworth, I think he goes by Chris B in here.
I'll be in Pennsylvania in 3 weeks.
I will be in Pennsylvania on the 11th.
I'll be on my way to Pennsylvania on the 11th. I will be in Pennsylvania the week of the 12th through the 16th, 17th.
No. I have a comedy show on the 11th. I will be there on the 16th. I will be in Pennsylvania on the 14th through the 16th. Is that Fridays or 16th through the 18th? Whatever that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is.
Yeah, 16th, 17th, 18th is the weekend.
Okay, I'll be there. You're gonna be there too?
Yeah, I'll be in Harrisburg.
I'll be in Woodward. How far is Harrisburg from Woodward?
We'll find out.
Camp Woodward, PA.
Because We have a booth at the Firemen's Expo. I think it's booth.
Wouldn't it be crazy
308
if I was going to be really close to you on accident?
We all
could, like,
meet up.
I don't know where Harrisburg is at on this map.
I think Harrisburg's top right.
It doesn't look like it's anywhere close to Woodward. Woodward is near Bald Eagle State Forest. If that helps out.
It's an hour 23 minutes away.
Oh yeah, I see Harrisburg now. Okay. Yeah, probably won't see you, but anyway, I will be in Woodward, Pennsylvania for at Camp Woodward with the boys, but so I probably won't get out there unless I see you on that Monday. And then but on the 11th, I have a comedy show in Clayton, North Carolina for Mother's Day.
Yeah,
all right.
Harrisburg is kind of the middle. I don't know my East Coast geography like I used to.
I wouldn't know the West Coast at all. So, guys, thanks for being in the chats. We love all of y'all. Until next time, go check out Abby Ellsworth's On Being a Police Officer interview with Cameron Santana. Go check out The Bar's Open with Beth and Greg. Check out Bosco Autry's podcast, and we will see you guys sometime this week, probably on Fox News Monday, maybe this weekend, to talk about this $66 million experiment to dim the sun. I think that's important news to not let slip through the cracks there. So we will head over to FAWKES News, FAWKES News, and subscribe to that as well, audio and on YouTube. See you guys soon. Cheers.
See you.